Hello everyone and welcome back to the arena for another season of Dungeons and Death Battles, the series where we search for the most lethal monster in all of Dungeons and Dragons. The rules are simple. The fight takes place in the arena, combatants start 30 feet apart, there is no fleeing the arena, and victory is achieved by kill only. In this third season of Dungeons and Death Battles, 16 deadly dungeon denizens will be duking it out to find out which one of them is worthy of being crowned the CR3 Arena Champion. Up first and foremost, we have a pair of ferocious fighters with the cunning Duergar Mind Master taking on the powerful Winter Wolf in savage arena combat. The Duergar Mind Master has risen up from the CR2 League as champion and will be looking to prove itself in this higher bracket. The Mind Master, of course, comes armed with some very dangerous abilities such as that incredible Reduce, which amongst other things increases its AC by 5 while active, as well as its brutal Mind Poison Dagger multi-attack, which when paired with its invisibility can really cause issues for opponents. It comes in swinging with a hit point average of 39 and a base AC of 14 alongside a solid stat spread. And standing proud on the other side of the arena, hailing from the frozen wastes of the world, we have the Winter Wolf, the very first CR3 creature to grace the arena with its notable presence. This crafty canine has been built for surviving harsh conditions, a base AC of 13 and an incredible average hit point pool of 75 proving just as much. The Winter Wolf packs strong all-round statistics as well, with an 18 in strength being the highlight, with some tough abilities to match, a powerful bite attack and the cold breath ability looking to do some serious damage. So with all that said, it's time to get Season 3 of Dungeons and Death Battles underway. I can hear the bated breath of the crowd, so without further ado, it's time to roll for initiative. Starting with the Season 2 champion, the Duergar Mind Master, and its +3 modifier. So rolling in right now for the Duergar Mind Master. Let's see what it can do. Rolling in with that +3 here, and it's rolled in with an 11 +3 for 14. A very respectable start there from the Mind Master. Let's see if the Winter Wolf on its +1 is able to best that. And so rolling in a fresh set of dice on the table for the Winter Wolf, and with a natural one on that very first roll, it is not looking good. The Winter Wolf only rolling in there with a 2, which does mean that the Duergar Mind Master will be kicking things off this season. It was the last to leave the arena in the CR2 League, and it will be the first to do anything in the CR3 League, which is rather fitting. And of course, the Duergar Mind Master is going to kick things off by using its ability to go invisible and then skirting some 25 feet around the arena, closing in on the Winter Wolf but not getting too close. Then of course going to drop a bonus action to use Reduce, which is going to up its AC to 19. And so with that, we are going to hand over to the Winter Wolf, which will be starting off its first turn looking for an invisible target. And now the Winter Wolf does have keen hearing and smell, which does mean that it is going to be making a perception check to see if it can root out the location of the Mind Master. And so as such, it will be making a perception check. And so this is the first check of the season right here. And the Winter Wolf does get advantage on this roll due to its ability, keen hearing and smell. And now we will be contesting this with a stealth check from the Mind Master. But first things first, let's roll in, see what the Winter Wolf can detect. And with 2 19s there, that is an incredibly high roll on advantage there from the Winter Wolf. It definitely cottons onto something here, using its incredible smell to sniff out the dankness of the Mind Master. But of course, the Mind Master does get a chance to contest this. It does have a +5 to its stealth. As the Duergar Mind Master rolls in with a 5, it does get a +5 to its stealth due to its skill bonus, and a +5 due to its Reduce, which does bring that total up to 15, which unfortunately for the Dwarf is still well below the Winter Wolf's total perception roll of 24. Which does mean that the Winter Wolf knows the rough whereabouts of the Mind Master. And so with that said, the Winter Wolf will be tracking its quarry and will be making it into melee combat with the Mind Master, where it will be unleashing its first bite attack. The Mind Master, however, is still invisible, which does mean that this attack will be at disadvantage. As good as the keen hearing and smell ability of the Winter Wolf is, the Mind Master does retain its magical advantage. And so rolling in at disadvantage now with the Winter Wolf, a +6 to this. And with an 8 and a 6, unfortunately, that does mean we will be taking the 6, as we were rolling in at disadvantage, which even with a +6 only brings that up to 12, which does mean that the Winter Wolf has missed the Mind Master with its bite attack. Which does mean that we are going to be handing over to the Mind Master, where it will make its first couple of attacks here. Rather irritated that the Winter Wolf was able to track it so well, but with its intelligence and understanding of its opponent, I cannot imagine that it's too surprised. But having said all that, it has retained its invisibility, with the Winter Wolf having missed that bite attack, which does mean that this first Mind Poison Dagger attack will be rolling in at advantage. So quite the contrary to the Wolf's attack, this one is coming in hot with 2 d20s rolling in, with the highest result being taken. So rolling in once again, Mind Poison Dagger attacks, +5 to this, and that is huge. That is a 19 and a 16, with that 19 +5 totaling 24, a surefire hit on the Winter Wolf with its AC of 13. And that does of course mean that the Winter Wolf will now be taking the brunt of 3d6 points of psychic damage, plus of course that single point of piercing damage. And so rolling in right now, 3d6 points of damage +1, and that is 2 3s for a 6, plus that 2 there for 8, plus that one for 9 points of damage, with that first Mind Poison Dagger attack, bringing the Winter Wolf down to 66 hit points. And we do, of course, still have yet another Mind Poison Dagger attack yet to come. This one rolling in just straight, as the Mind Master's invisibility has now dropped. So rolling in another Mind Poison Dagger attack, plus 5 to this. And with an 8 plus 5 for 13, that does mean that the second Mind Poison Dagger attack has, by a very whisker, landed as well. And yet another 3d6 points of damage, plus that one will be coming in right now. Let's see what the Mind Poison Dagger can do. And that is a much higher roll than last time, with that 5 and 6 for 11, plus 2 for 13, plus 1 for 14 points of damage. A very heavy round there from the Mind Master, which has brought the Winter Wolf down to 52 hit points after that initial onslaught. A very, very good round for the Mind Master there, as it holds its own in the CR3 League. And the Winter Wolf will not be massively pleased about this. And now as we hand back over to the Winter Wolf, the creature is going to make a Cold Breath attack, looking to chill the Mind Master to the bone at point blank range. This 15-foot cone exhales outwards, which means that the Mind Master must now make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw, or take 48 points of cold damage, or it will be taking half as much on a success. And the Winter Wolf is looking to get some damage on the table here, as the Duergar Mind Master rolls in for a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. Does get a plus 3 to this, and with a 14 plus 3 for 17, the Duergar Mind Master has succeeded, just standing aside as a frigid blast of breath just scrapes its facial features. And as a result, it will be taking half of 48 points of damage. The rolling in, and that is actually a very, very solid damage roll there from the Winter Wolf, with those 2 6s making 12, plus 4 then up to 16, with an additional 1 bringing that up to 17 points of damage, which will of course be halved and rounded down to 8 points of damage against the Mind Master, leaving the Underdark Denizen on 31 hit points. And the Wolf will have wanted more from that, as we do hand back over to the Mind Master, which once again is going to pile drive in with more Mind Poison Dagger attacks. It did well last time, and we'll be looking to continue on with that trend. So first attack coming in once again, plus 5 to hit, and with a 14 plus 5 for 19, that one is going to land. So once again, more damage rolling in from the Mind Master, 3d6 points of psychic damage, plus that 1 point of piercing damage. And that is a 2 and a 1 for 3, plus 3 for 6, plus 1 for 7. The Mind Master will certainly have wanted more than that, but it has dropped the Winter Wolf down to 45 hit points. But once again, it will be throwing in with its second attack right now. Yet another Mind Poison Dagger attack, honing in on its foe. And once again, with a 12 plus 5 for 17, the second attack strikes home as well. And the barrage of damage against the Winter Wolf continues. The CR2 champion really driving home how it won last season. And yet again, a tremendous roll there from the Mind Master, with 5 plus 1 for 6, plus 6 for 12, and of course adding that additional 1 point of piercing damage for 13 points of damage, rending and slicing through the Winter Wolf, bringing it down to 32 hit points. And we continue on at this point. The Winter Wolf, well below the half hit points mark, is going to roll to see if it can recharge its Cold Breath, which on a 4, unfortunately, it is not able to, which does mean that it is going to chomp down again with its bite attack, see if it can make any progress towards getting the Mind Master out of its face. So rolling in once again a plus 6 to this, looking to be an AC of 19, and a 16 plus 6 for 22 will in fact beat an AC of 19, and we will be rolling in with 2d6 plus 4 points of piercing damage right now. So throwing in 2d6 plus 4 points of piercing damage, polarizing a 6 and a 1 for 7, plus that 4 for 11 points of damage, which is going to hurt the Mind Master, bringing it down to 20 hit points. And now as the attack has landed, the Mind Master now must make a DC 14 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. And now as the Mind Master is currently under the effects of the reduce ability, it will be making this saving throw at disadvantage. So rolling in no modifier to this, but it is at disadvantage, looking to be a DC of 14. And with no modifier, a 10 does mean that it has failed, and the Mind Master has now been knocked prone, pinned under the single paw of the Winter Wolf due to its tiny size. But no matter, as usually this ability is most helpful when there are more wolves attacking the same target, as we do hand back over to the Mind Master, which as it is only prone, will use half of its movement to stand before piling in yet again with 2 more Mind Poison Dagger attacks. As it was quickly able to right itself from the prone condition, these will again be straight rolls. So first attack coming through, and once again an 8 plus 5 does make 13, so that first strike makes it through. And so that first strike cuts through the Winter Wolf's hide once again. The Mind Master has really been pulling out all the stops here, so let's see how much damage it puts on the table. Again, another huge roll there with a 6 and a 5 for 11, plus 2 for 13, plus that 1 for 14 points of damage. The Mind Master truly is a certified monster, and it's coming in with yet another one of those Mind Poison Dagger attacks right now. Once again rolling in, looking to beat an AC of 13. And with a 16 plus 5 for 21, it has done it yet again. The Mind Master has not missed a single attack so far. And once again, let's see what it can do as it dishes out yet more damage. And that is a 2 and a 1 for 3, plus 4 for 7, plus that 1 for 8 points of damage, which has brought the Winter Wolf down to just 10 hit points. 65 hit points done so far over the course of just 3 rounds of combat. And the Duergar Mind Master at this point likely wearing a sickly smug grin underneath underneath its mask as it prepares to put an end to the very first CR3 competitor. But before it can do that, the Winterwolf will be retaliating, and it is not particularly keen to be taking any damage from an opportunity attack, but it will now be rolling in again to see if it can recharge its cold breath, so a 5 or a 6, and with a 5 it does manage to get it back. But the creature is going to try a different tactic here and is going to once again go in with a bite attack, rolling in with a +6, and that is a 13 +6 for 19, which is right on the money, perfectly landing on the Duergar Mind Master's armor class, which does mean that the dwarf yet again is going to be taking 2d6 +4 points of piercing damage, plus potentially becoming knocked prone once again. And so rolling in with that damage, 2d6 +4 points of piercing damage, coming in hot, and that is a 6 and a 3 for 9, plus that 4 for 13 points of damage, really bringing that Mind Master down low now to 7 hit points, as a smug grin on the dwarf's face vanishes, as it is now subject to a DC 14 strength saving throw once again. Of course, its tiny size meaning that this is rolling in at disadvantage, and so no modifier, but rolling in at disadvantage, and that is a 17, and unfortunately a 3 there for the Duergar Mind Master, which does mean that with that lack of modifier will be a failure yet again, as it finds itself knocked prone once more. And the Winterwolf is going to attempt to use this for its advantage, and it is going to attempt to flee combat and leave the Duergar Mind Master on the ground where it currently lies prone. Now this does of course mean that it will be subject to an opportunity attack, but this is a risk it's willing to take in order for its strategy next turn to pay off, and the wolf is going to jump away from the Mind Master as the tiny seething creature on the ground in front of it swings a mind poison dagger, attempting to slice its underbelly as it leaps over the top of its foe. And so Mind Master rolling in this opportunity attack at disadvantage, and with a 17 on the higher end and a 9 as the disadvantage roll, that does mean that with the +5 it has made 14, which is going to connect with the Winterwolf, which does mean the creature will be subject to 3d6 points of psychic damage plus that 1 point of piercing damage, as the blade does indeed make contact with soft parts that are not meant for stabbing. And this could be it right here. The Winterwolf strategy could have failed miserably. Duergar Mind Master rolling in 3d6 points of psychic damage plus 1 point of piercing damage, and it's only gone and managed it with 2 5s for 10 plus 1 for 11 plus that additional 1 for 12 points of damage, as the Mind Master is able to finish the Winterwolf, putting a stop to its CR3 opponent. The dwarf has gone to prove just how lethal it really is, having risen up from the CR2 League all the way into the CR3 Championship and having taken a win in its very first battle. The crowd and the atmosphere are absolutely electric here as the Mind Master rises through to the quarterfinal round of the CR3 League. A mere CR2 creature, this thing is holding its own out here. And with that, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me in the arena once again, and of course bearing witness to the Duergar Mind Master taking its very first win in the CR3 League. And I do hope you'll join me again next time when the Displacer Beast takes on the White in yet another Dungeons and Death Battles duke out to the death. And now if you did enjoy what you saw, please consider dropping a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping a comment down below. This is merely the first battle in a series of many from Dungeons and Death Battles Season 3, and we will be back very soon with yet again more battles for you, as the arena once again opens its doors to patrons from far and wide. And now if you do want to further support the channel, we do have a Patreon which has both free and paid tiers. There are usually votes of some description going on over there where you can pitch your support for your favourite monster in the arena, so head over there and check it out. Other than that, thank you very much once again, and I will see you very soon in the next one.